Well, here's the great bear right here, Elizabeth May. And let's just listen in on a small clip of her. She's getting the microphone, all the climate activists getting the microphone here as Canada looks for a pipeline.
Include then kind of jumping off that point and bridging where we started, which is the fact that you cast that very integral vote to support the budget and keep the government in power. You said never say never. Does that mean that you have not ruled out supporting them on other matters of confidence, or will you take a hard line on this?
We're going to have to change. They have to change their policies. Right now, we've got a prime minister who got to office largely with progressive voters thinking this is I had so many members of the Green Party email and say we're ending our Green Party membership long enough to vote for Mark Carney in the Liberal leadership because he's a climate guy. A lot of people believe that this was a prime minister who would act on climate. So I may have voted for the budget because I thought he would. A lot of Canadians voted Liberal because they thought he would. So there's disillusioned voters out there, a lot of them. There's disillusioned Liberal MPs who are wondering whether Will Graves, the MP for Victoria, who said he very worried about lifting the tanker ban, and Patrick Weiler, West Vancouver Sunshine Coast, Nathaniel Erskine-Smith, people saying this is not.
She just goes on and on and on. And, Elizabeth May, who can believe what she has to say anyway?
And what idea is she trying to put into the minds of people watching that? She's trying to put it into their mind that Mark Carney is the Prime Minister because people in the Green Party supported him and because people who care about progressive environmental ideology supported him. She's trying to give you that impression. Every single piece of actual evidence that we possess in the form of surveys and just logic as well, if you just think about it, shows that most Canadians, and that includes people that voted for Mark Carney, wanted natural resources projects to be built and was of people like Elizabeth May and Stephen Guilbeault who do nothing but block those projects. Yeah. So what she's saying is not for the first time the opposite of what is true.
Stephen Guilbeault throwing down the actual Trump card, saying that if Carney moves ahead with a pipeline, it could lead to Quebec wanting sovereignty. Let's listen in here.
There is clearly a sentiment by some Albertans that they don't see themselves in the Federation. But we also have to be careful because we have a very strong separatist movement in Quebec. And it's not just a movement, it's a political party, it's won elections, it's done 2 referendums. The PQ's been leading for the last 30 months in the polls in Quebec, and they have said that they will hold a 3rd referendum. And there is a feeling right now that by abandoning our climate goals, we are fueling the separatist movement, which is using this, and we can see it in the House of Commons this week with many questions from the Bloc Québécois, but also comments here in Quebec. We are fueling the Quebec separatist movement. So I don't think as a federation we gain by trying to appease using a solution that failed before. We're trying to appease separatist movement in part of the country by fueling them in another part of the country.
That's good.
So Fred,
good. That's good. So there you go. He's throwing out the big threat there, saying if they do a pipeline to the West Coast. You know what I mean? Like, again, you talked about that last week. It's not even to Quebec. It's to the West Coast.
We talked about this ages ago, didn't we? About Mark Carney's dilemma of how it was exactly what Guilbeault's just figured out now. It's almost like one or the other. It's Quebec or Alberta. Like choose your side. And I think that's going to become increasingly clear next year and the year after that. It's starting to become one or the other. And by the way, he said federation and the interests of Canada, basically. What he really means is the interests of the Liberal Party. And if you watch the rest of that, you'll see exactly what he means. Because he says Justin Trudeau did all this great stuff with Alberta. He bought the pipeline, made it all happen. And then we actually lost seats in Alberta, which is something that he said before. It's all about the Liberal Party. So he feels betrayed. And he looks at Alberta, he says, what's the point? We don't even get any seats there. Whereas Quebec is like a gold mine for the Liberal Party. So he's Quebec first and he's Liberal Party first. But the thing that feels different this time is that I think a lot of people look at this and they see this emotional or political blackmail from Quebec chauvinists once again. I think they look at it and they just say, okay then, permit me to facilitate your exit from Canada. Because we've talked about, if Alberta leaves, there's a good chance Saskatchewan would join them, but let's just say Alberta. If Alberta leaves, Canada's dead. You can't have Canada anymore. It's just geographically impossible. You can't do it. If Quebec leaves, you can still have a Canada. Some would actually say you would have a more coherent Canada that actually worked a bit better, and it actually had a purpose and a common identity. You know, these are questions that a lot of people don't ever really want to talk about because it means the end of the country as they've known it. But we're going to be having these conversations. I sincerely feel that. And I think it's going to become clearer and clearer that people outside of Quebec are they're sick of it. They just they would let them go. I think. I don't feel like there's the same urge to keep Quebec in Canada.
I think one of the things I keep hearing is, though, over the past 10 years, one of the things that is very kind of like becoming really crystal clear is that the Liberal Party over the past 10 years has managed to really rip Canada apart. There is no Team Canada. Provinces are fighting with each other. We can't get a pipeline built. There is special interest groups. Quebec seems to be driving the bus, like you said, in the voting and all that. And there is, our economy sinks. We have more and more people forced into poverty, down in the poverty line. We have now food programs that they're bragging about, that we have to feed our kids at school through lunch programs. All these things are, like a nation that should be very, very rich, and we're being driven further and further and further down. And it seems to serve the interests of one party here in Canada.
We don't just report the news. We live here too. We're your neighbors, bringing you stories that matter to all of us. No government funding, no outside influence. Kelowna Now, local, independent. News you can trust.